Everest Business Funding is a provider of merchant cash advances with headquarters in Florida. They offer small business finance that is both quick to fund and pricey. It is possible that a merchant cash advance is one of the only options available to companies who are unable to comply with the requirements for more conventional company loans. This could be due to a lack of credit history or an inadequate business history. Despite the fact that it is simpler to apply for a merchant cash advance, it is also one of the most expensive lending alternatives available, and the daily repayment terms can quickly eat away at a company's cash flow. Our evaluation of Everest Business Funding includes the specifics of its merchant cash advance product, including the rates, terms, and other relevant information. Information regarding the Everest Business Funding Merchant Cash Advance. Pros: easier eligibility requirements. Fast funding. Cons: expensive. Daily payments. Lack of transparency. Details: loan amount $5,000 to $1 million. Loan terms 2 to 12 months. Factor rate 1.2 to 1.5. Qualifications: monthly revenue $10,000. Personal credit score 500. Time in business 3 months. Everest Business Funding borrower eligibility. In addition to the criteria that have been presented above, there are not a great deal of more conditions that your company must fulfill in order to be qualified for a merchant cash advance from Everest Business Funding. Because of this, MCAs are designed to be simple to qualify for. Nevertheless, you will have to pay a higher factor rate and additional fees in exchange for this convenience of access. According to the information provided on their website, Everest Business Funding is able to provide funding for any kind of business and approves 95% of all applications. However, the following are some of the most prevalent industries with which they collaborate: healthcare, food and beverage, service, trade, retail, seasonal businesses. What you need to apply. In order to submit an application for a merchant cash advance with Everest Business Funding, you will be required to provide bank statements that demonstrate that you fulfill the threshold for monthly income. As they characterize their application as simple and uncomplicated, you won't need to provide a significant amount of documentation in order to apply. How to get a loan with Everest Business Funding. Do you feel prepared to go into the specifics of submitting an application for an advance with Everest Business Funding? It's time to get started. Application and underwriting process. A straightforward online application is the initial step in the small Everest Business Funding underwriting procedure. In order to complete the application, you will be required to provide the following documents and information. Requested loan amount. How quickly you need to fund. Average monthly revenue. Name, email, phone number, business name. In order to review your application and give you with an initial offer, a representative from Everest Business Funding will get in touch with you. Therefore, in order to authenticate both your identification and the financial flow of your firm, you will be required to send in documentation such as your business bank statements. Everest Business Funding will then provide you a finalized offer, which you may either accept or reject depending on your current circumstances. You will be able to obtain funds in as little as 24 hours if you accept the offer. Post-funding process. Once you have received the funds from Everest Business Funding, the process of repaying them will be identical to that of any other merchant cash advance. Your debt will be repaid by daily installments, which will be made in the form of either a predetermined automatic payment, ACH, or a portion of the daily revenue generated by your credit card. This will continue to take place until your debt, which is calculated by multiplying the main loan amount by the factor rate, is completely repaid. Client reviews indicate that a large number of business owners have funded many advances with them. Nevertheless, there does not appear to be any reward or discount for being a repeat client. This is despite the fact that their website does not contain any information regarding renewals. In general, they provide very little information here. Fees and collateral. One of the most common characteristics of the merchant cash advance is the fact that it might end up being rather costly for your company. Cash advances from merchants are sometimes the most expensive kind of funding available, and they have the potential to severely restrict the flow of cash into a small business organization. And the merchant cash advance that Everest Business Funding provides is not an exception to this rule. The Everest Business Funding Company wants daily payments, which might significantly reduce the amount of cash flow that your company has available. You will always be responsible for paying the exact amount of interest, regardless of how quickly you are able to pay off your merchant cash advance. This is due to the fact that merchant cash loans do not come with a predetermined repayment time. Everest Business Funding also charges an origination fee that can range anywhere from $199 to $2,900, which is an additional expense that would be added to this expense. In general, if you are eligible for other financing choices besides an MCA from Everest Business Funding, you will most likely want to go with one of those options. If time is on your side and you do not want money right now, we would also recommend that you work on increasing your credit and revenue in order to increase your chances of being eligible for financing at a lower cost in the future. Additionally, simply being in business will boost your business history, which is another condition that lenders take into consideration when deciding whether or not to grant a business loan. Everest Business Funding Customer Service. You may get in touch with Everest Business Funding by calling them, sending them an email, sending them a fax, or filling out a brief form that is immediately on their website. They are based in Doral, Florida. They provide a separate email address and phone number for their collections department in the event that you need to get in touch with them. Everest Business Funding Customer Reviews. Everest Business Funding is not certified by the Better Business Bureau, and they have received a few complaints from customers in recent times. Nevertheless, they have addressed these problems. Customers who have purchased the goods in the past have expressed their dissatisfaction with the product's high price and the fact that they do not receive superior pricing or terms. The most recent accusations also state that Everest Business Funding was unable to deal with business owners who were forced to temporarily close their companies as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak. Even though they had a pleasant experience during the application and funding process at first, some people continue to complain about the bad customer service they received. However, Everest Business Funding is also a company that has garnered some excellent feedback from customers. There were a lot of clients who were impressed by how simple the application procedure was, how quickly they received their funds, and how helpful the customer support was. There is a possibility that this is the best choice for your company, provided that you are aware of the actual costs that an MCA will incur for your company and that you have the financial resources necessary to manage daily payments.